one other question I had, a bit of a different direction. So, before you were talking about, maybe running for office, or being kind of incorporated on that side of things. What's your current vision there, or what's your current plan there? And maybe in explaining that, you might have to explain for a listener who doesn't necessarily understand how the French political system works, like how the elections work and in coalition building and stuff like that in a place like, in a smaller city like Rennes.
Yeah, so next year is gonna be the mayor election. So yeah, 2026. So right now, all the different parties are starting to meet the inhabitants to show them what they want to do, what they are already doing without any budget, who they are, simply like just introducing themselves to the people, going to the neighborhoods, markets, social events, community events, like whatever. And so, yeah, I really want to meet the people and see them. And I think it's mostly because they want to get votes, but also they want I'm referring to one party. I'm not really sure how I should talk about it, because I don't know if they want me to talk about it, but yeah, one party from the left side, really wants to involve the inhabitants in the decision making. So how can you say that you want the inhabitants to be involved in it if you don't go meet them and see how they live and how they feel about politics, how they feel about their way of life, what do they want? Like, you have to go meet them at some point. And yeah, that's what we're doing right now. We're like the political parties in Rennes. And yeah, every inhabitant that wants to go to vote, they go to vote. That's the right. If you have the French paper, French citizenship. But you can also not go vote, and you can also like do a blank vote, like you put nothing on it. And yeah, so a lot of people in the priority neighborhoods don't really think if they vote it's gonna change anything. Like, they think the vote is kind of useless for them, because like there's a trust issue from the priority neighborhoods, and I think in general the French citizen, like in political people, like they think they talk a lot and they don't do anything about what they said they were going to do. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's in general, like everywhere, not only in France. But yeah, so I think the party I'm referring to, they understood that they have some work to do in neighborhoods, and mostly on young people, like from 18 to, I would say, 25, because this is the age they could vote and they can learn about political stuff and get involved in decision making, but they don't feel like it's their place to be. I mean, they can do that. Like, it's also their city, it's also their neighborhood, so they should know that they can get involved if they want to. even if it's not easy sometimes, their voice matters. Like, yeah.
Yeah, this makes total sense. I mean, I think there are definitely parallels in the U.S. Like, there's really both major parties, but especially one recently, a couple months ago, for the last couple months, I mean, has been doing a lot of work trying to understand, like, what do the youth want, and trying to, and it's probably a bit of a problem to phrase it that way, because you're making them into a bit of a them in that very phrasing, but that to me was the party's approach, almost unfortunately, but like trying to galvanize people who are younger, and it seems to be a bit of a, in the US it's complicated, how well that works, but I could see this in France and in Reenes too. So like, yeah, in your experience, in your personal experience, like, what do you see some of the kind of the biggest like questions or issues that younger adults might have that either result in them wanting to make political change, or that result in them getting discouraged and saying, to heck with participating in either party politics or elections in the first place?
Yeah. I see a lot of younger people, like my age, younger, not, it's my age. So I see a lot of people of my age getting involved in political stuff, like they either want to study political science, or they're journalists, and they want to show the truth. Like, they want to show how the people are reacting to, for example, the change of government. They want to show how the police is reacting to protest. So yeah, it's really a question of security, inequality, also a little bit of ecologic insecurities they have. Like, we try to do our best to have a good way of thinking about the earth and what we can do, but it's also very overwhelming, because we are trying our best, and we see other people not doing the same. Ecology, security, money, yeah.
Immigration. What about immigration?
Because some people feels like we should be more, like, as a country, we should be more welcoming. Like, it's not good to see people that are avoiding genocide or whatever. They're coming to our city to avoid that, and there are homeless people in our cities, and that is not fair. They live the worst in their country, and they come here and they are still living the worst we can live. Like, you don't have a house, you don't know when you're going to eat, you don't know what is going to happen tomorrow, or even in an hour, if you're gonna, you could have a place to stay, but you don't know for how long. And you can have children and still be homeless, and that is crazy. Like, to me, it's crazy.
Yeah, and that connects to inequality, which is the other thing you were talking about, which is a big thing in the U.S. So, like, if people with jobs can still have difficulty being able to afford recently talked, in another interview, I recently talked to one of my professors who is now doing homelessness research in California, and this is a big thing. There are numbers of people who have jobs that still can't afford housing there. But maybe that aside, or that connection, yeah. What do you see as some of the kind of biggest forces or aspects of inequality in Reenes today?
I would say how the medias talk about different neighborhoods. Like, they have their way of talking of priority neighborhoods. We know when it's a priority neighborhood, it's going to be a headline about drug dealing, murder, I don't know. And when it's going to be in the, how can we say that, like, better neighborhood, like, it's going to be, oh, they did that, oh, this happened, or like, a girl opened the shop. We don't, like, it's good, but we don't care. And we also don't care about another headline about drug dealing in priority neighborhoods. But this is not the only thing happening there. Like, yeah, like, this is really impacting because a lot of people are only keeping track of actuality through medias, and if they show what they want to show, people will think what the media shows, and they won't try to find something else about that priority neighborhood. Like, they won't think, oh, people can do nice thing there too now. They just think, oh, don't go there. This is total insecurity. Like, you can be killed there. Like, I think I'm feeling that because my grandparents, they read newspapers every day, and they know that I worked in priority neighborhoods. So each time I had an event there, they kept telling me, be careful, like, don't go out too late. But my job, like, needed me to go back late, like at 3 a.m. or something. And they were scared about it. Like, they said, oh, you shouldn't do that. But it's a normal neighborhood. Like, yes, you can see drug dealers, but yeah. I think this is, they think this is only happening in their city. And so they're really scared about it, but it's happening in a lot of cities, in a lot of countries. So, yeah, we have to keep reminding the people that it's not only themselves. Like, this is not a unique situation.
Yeah, this makes total sense. I mean, what this reminds me of, or maybe first real quick, I'm sorry, I'm kind of making the connection right now, but there are times in the U.S., one of the euphemisms we'll use, or I've heard used from time to time, is they'll talk about certain neighborhoods in cities in the U.S. as quote unquote high need, like a high need neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing priority seems to mean something very similar to this. It's a priority because it has a lot of needs. And that has the same, like, kind of baggage to it, to me. But, like, I remember, this reminds me, I mean, my neighbor, where I lived in Chicago, it was considered one of these neighborhoods by many people in the overall Chicago area. And people would frequently ask, because it was like normal when you would meet someone, you would ask them, like, where they live in Chicago. This is a pretty normal thing. And they would be like, oh, are you safe? And I would want to be like, I'm just as safe as you are. Like, but, like, their entire conception of it is, like, gang violence and drug dealing. And there are people in that neighborhood who do that stuff. But they're, like, a pretty small percentage of the population there. Like, they might be 1 to 2%, but I'm pretty sure at the end of the day, they're under 1% of the population. in that neighborhood. Like, they're a very small minority of people. And most people are going about their days, going to work, going to school, going to the park, going to have fun, going bowling, doing whatever the heck they do with their lives. But this is still often the narrative that's told. Or, what do you think?
So I did a research, like I did my master degree, and I did a research about the neighborhood I grew up in. And
just to be clear, the neighborhood you grew up in, was that a priority neighborhood, or was that?
Yeah,
okay, well, I'm sorry. Keep going.
It's the biggest one in Rennes.
Oh no. Okay.
So yeah, and so I had to read you like a history thing about insecurity and how people feel and live the insecurity right now, because there is insecurity. Like, we cannot deny it. But as I was younger, I could go everywhere without my mom being afraid of me being shot or something else. Like, I could enjoy my life in public space, going to see my friends everywhere in the neighborhood. But at one point, they had like a shooting in my neighborhood, and all the people were scared. Like, it's so unstable. Like, you can understand that, but like, drug dealing became such an important thing in the neighborhood that people were scared to go into public space. They were scared to use all the playgrounds, all the parks and everything. And I didn't live that because I was in another neighborhood. And when I came back to do my research, I saw that a lot had changed. They did like a lot of new construction, new buildings to meet others, new park, and we tried to make it like more welcoming for the families, I think. But the families are not really into going out right now. They prefer staying in their homes, and that's a real thing to work on as a city. Like, your people are scared of being outside, and all you talk about is like getting rid of drug dealing, which is a problem, but you have to focus on why these people are doing drugs dealing, like why they do that, because they don't have job. Why they don't have job? Because they don't have access to education, and they don't feel like they belong to university, so they don't think they can have a proper job. They don't think they can dream about having another job than that. And why they want to have a job that is getting paid less than what they're doing right now, and they have to take care of their families. But because I've seen 14 years old people getting money out of drug dealing and giving them to their families, because doing grocery stores is expensive. So here you go, mommy, here's your money. And the parents don't know how to deal with that. They don't know how to react because they need that money, but they know what the children are doing is not nice. It's not good. It's dangerous. So yeah, like, the problem is really deep, and it's not just, they doing drugs in the streets. No. So yeah.
Yeah, this makes total sense. And different neighborhoods have different experiences. So it's really sad that people don't feel comfortable in the neighborhood itself going outside. I think that's something to take very seriously, because that's different than, stereotypical perceptions of people from far away that just read the news. But yes, okay, so that is a very interesting thing, and I bet that would be very complicated. So, like, how did your grad school research, your findings here in school when you did research into this community, how did that influence your current work as a program manager? Did what you learned talking to people affect kind of how you build things now?
Yeah, it did. It did have an impact of how I was working, and I think that's what my manager, my boss, whatever, liked about it, because I had another angle, another way of thinking about these neighborhoods that we work in mainly. So I had more of a social way of thinking, like, oh, these people are gonna like that. Oh, these people are not gonna like that because they've seen that everywhere. This is not what they want to see. This is not what they want to do during holidays. They have enough of this or whatever. And yeah, this was also a really like challenging thing for me, because I wanted to do what was good for the neighborhood, but also I could see a lot of thing happening, like, oh, this organization is doing this for a lot of years, so they're gonna keep doing it and have the same amount of money from the state, but they do not give like 10% of their own budget to do it, and we're still gonna give them the same amount of money. And the smaller foundation, they give like 70% of their own budget, and we're only going to give them not a lot of money. And I think that was really hard for me, because at some point things have to change, and we have to give like opportunities to others to do bigger things than they do now, if they want, if they have the need to do bigger thing. And yeah, like, I forgot the question.
No, you're totally fine. I'm gonna ask a follow-up question. You did actually kind of hit the question, but I'll ask a follow-up question that will tease out a specific detail of it. How was your perspective, given your experiences in your research in grad school and your experiences growing up in a different high priority neighborhood, how was your perspective on what the community you're currently working in, on what they need, and your approach to try to coordinate and help do things? How was your perspective on this different from your other colleagues who didn't necessarily have this background?
Yeah, so as I started this job, like, I was like, oh, I have a little bit of power in my hand. Like, I can help the people. I can help the people I know. I can help the people that have the same background as me. So I could do better because I understand them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I felt like I understood the people, so I could be more like, I don't know, I could do more of what they want me to do, and what, as a as a child, I would love to do that. So yeah, like, I was just trying to understand them maybe a little more than my other colleagues, even though they were like really understanding, like, they love their job, and I think when you work in neighborhoods like that, you have to learn how to understand people, or at least just listen to them. But as I used to be one of these people, and I feel like I still am, I wanted to do what they expected me to be or to do, and it was really hard because, like, as I said, not everything is on me, so sometimes I couldn't just say yes. But yeah, I think this is very the human side, like, yeah. And maybe because I am younger than my other colleagues, so I'm really aware of what is the main subjects in younger people's lives, or what they think about, what they're doing. So I thought, as I'm younger, I could make my other colleagues see what the younger people want and what they need and what they can do in public space. And so, I was kind of the one, like, opening the other people's eyes about what is being a 20 years old in the neighborhood.
Yeah, this makes total sense. I mean, you probably have much more of an intuitive experience, but I also wonder if you, like, listening. I agree with you. I mean, that's, as an anthropologist, I think the most important thing is to listen. But often, in order to listen, we have to really understand the humanity in the other people. Because if we don't understand the humanity, we don't listen. And I wonder if you're given your experiences, if you're much more, like, in line with somebody who I wonder if you, given your experiences, if you see the humanity in the people, in these settings, whereas maybe some other people kind of see the communities as a problem, or see the communities in other ways that prevents them from being able to see the humanity of the people who live there. Or what do you think?
At some point, it was really hard for me to see the community as a good thing. I would say, like, this was really hard for me sometimes because they put a lot of pressure on me, and I was like, I'm the one deciding, so I do what I can and what I want. And I was starting to think a little bit like other colleagues, and I didn't like that at all, because at one point one of my friends said, now you sounds like them. And I was like, what? And I felt that really bad because I didn't know what was my place to be. Like, if I was working for the city, so I have to think like the city, or as I'm an inhabitant of neighborhood, I have to think like someone from the neighborhood and don't trust the city because that's what we used to do. So yeah, that was a strange place to be. And when my friend told me that, I was like, okay, I have to go back to where I belong. And so I spent a little time in the neighborhoods on the field for my work, and spent some time with the people in the events. And I was like, okay, I'm doing this for them. So I have to keep in mind that even some people are not nice or don't act good or keep complaining, I'm doing this for them, and I'm enjoying being useful. So yeah, because at one point I feel like I was only concerned about the budget and the city council and how things are going. And yeah, I was more focusing on the work part than the human part. Yeah.
How were you able to better reconnect with the human part during this kind of time where you were focusing too much on the budget and these other bigger questions?
I just went on the events and just see the people, how they react about the activities, the concert, the things. Just see that they were laughing, having a good time, and the work was done. They had a good time. For me, it was the only thing that mattered. Like, we don't care about how many people. If I see someone laughing, smiling, enjoying their time, and not thinking about, oh, I have to go back home and stay in my room. Yeah, I talk to the younger people too. Like, I really like the fact that I could talk to everyone and ask, oh, did you know about this event? Where do you come from? Like, yeah, just know how they ended up here. And, yeah, just to remind me that these things was useful. Mm. And that I was also useful.
Mm. Yeah, that can be really helpful. I mean, this reminds me of kind of one of the kind of memes that kind of went over the internet, became a bit cliche, but was like, go touch grass. That kind of idea of like, go touch nature, yeah. Be with nature. And that is important. We do need to be with nature, but it seems like you actually kind of had your own version of it, which is like, go see somebody laugh. Like, go, you don't touch laughter. That doesn't make sense. But go see laughter or something. Like, go see how people are enjoying their lives. And maybe more of the ecological side maybe is important, but maybe also the social side of seeing other humans, particularly in the neighborhood that you're serving, but as they live their lives, and it can kind of put our own issues into a bit of a perspective to see the rhythms of life and people at different stages of life. People just having fun at the park sometimes can be really helpful like that. Yeah, or what do you think?
Yeah, because at one point I was just stuck in my office making sure the budget was fine and that we still got some money in case something happened, and doing the paperwork because this foundation didn't feel the thing to have their money. So yeah, it was really hard being in the office and doing that. So I enjoyed a lot going to the events and just see people and just see how they love living their life, enjoying life.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, it says something that that the government's jobs are basically so far removed from the actual day-to-day existence of people, but this happens. I mean, you have both the structural or marginalized side where many of the people from the government are probably coming from other parts of society and aren't necessarily thinking about this community as intimately, but then you also just have the logistics, budgets matter, and when you abstract things, that abstraction does matter. You do need to do it, but it changes your perspective over time. Mm-hmm. Bureaucracy, it's one way we get bureaucracy. But it still says something, I think, about maybe Reenes and French society, maybe humanity in general,